Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit BillHowe.com. And by the Conrad Trebas Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following. And by viewers like you. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. 36 years after they gunned their parents down in their Beverly Hills home, Lyle and Eric Menendez are making their case for parole. And today, younger brother Eric appeared before the parole board. KPBS reporter John Carroll joins us now from the newsroom with more. Many people have been following this story. John, what have you learned?
Well, Eric, hearing, Maya, is being held via teleconference from the Donovan State Prison with the parole board meeting in Sacramento. We've just learned within the past hour that the hearing is still going on, even though it was supposed to have started at 8:30 this morning. Now, this was the scene outside Donovan State Prison in Otay Mesa earlier today. Media from both San Diego and Los Angeles crowded along a road that leads to the prison, although we were all being kept well outside the prison parking lot. Only one reporter in Sacramento was allowed access to watch a live stream of the proceedings. As far as a decision goes, there are a number of things that could happen. They could deny parole, a decision that could be appealed. They could grant parole. In that case, the board's chief legal counsel will review the decision. They have 120 days to do that. If they find the decision was arrived at legally, then the matter goes to Governor Gavin Newsom. He would then have 30 days to either sign off on the board's decision, modify it, or deny it. Parole for the brothers didn't become a possibility at all until earlier this year, when a judge re-sentenced them to 50 years to life with the possibility of parole. Now, tomorrow, it's Lyle's turn. And we'll be back down there again tomorrow. In case any supporters or protesters show up, we'll bring you the latest as soon as we know it. Live in the newsroom, John Carroll, KPBS News.
Thanks, John. Southern California is experiencing a heat wave that's creating risky fire conditions. KPBS reporter Thomas Fudge has the latest on how local fire crews are preparing and the additional resources that have been deployed.
The heat advisory for San Diego's inland valleys today and tomorrow has increased the risk of fire. It has also caused Governor Gavin Newsom to dedicate an extra 47 fire engines, 9 bulldozers, and 5 helicopters to San Diego and 4 other Southern California counties. San Diego Cal Fire Captain Robert Johnson says planning to use extra resources strategically before a fire breaks out is a good idea.
This just allows us to get more resources on scene faster, and it eliminates some of that lag time in the event there is a fire start.
Weather conditions that can summon a wildfire include heat, low humidity, and high winds. Johnson says another one that San Diego County has in abundance is dry brush. He says dry conditions have given us the kinds of plants that provide good fuel for fires.
Anytime live fuel moistures, that's going to be the amount of moisture in the live brush throughout the county gets below 60%. That's considered to be critical levels. Currently in San Diego County, the fuel moistures in certain areas are below that critical live fuel moisture levels.
So far, San Diego has not had a hot summer. Temperatures have been below average. But winter didn't bring much rain, and summer didn't bring the monsoonal conditions that normally cause thunderstorms in San Diego's backcountry. Meteorologist Alex Tardy said that was true for most of the American Southwest.
We should be talking about thunderstorms over our mountains, like Mount Laguna, in our deserts, and we've seen almost nothing. So it's been a really dry, incredibly dry monsoon, not just for Southern California, but Utah and Arizona.
Johnson says people need to be careful as the threat of fire increases. Almost all fires are caused by human activity, he says, so keep that in mind when you're using any device that can cause a spark. Thomas Fudge, KPBS News.
Weather headlines here as we head throughout the next couple of days. I will be tracking lots of sunshine. Temperatures are going to be relatively mild for this time of year. Overall, I am tracking great weather here for both your Saturday and Sunday. Overall, looks like it's going to stay warm, breezy. It'll even be a little bit muggy here for some areas. I'll detail that extended forecast coming up.
California lawmakers passed legislation to advance a redistricting plan that could help Democrats win 5 more U.S. House seats next year. Governor Gavin Newsom quickly signed the legislation. It calls for a November special election, asking voters permission to implement the new partisan maps. California Republicans have sued and called for a federal investigation. The legislation is a response to Texas Republicans' own redrawn congressional map favoring conservatives. 5 U.S. citizens and a legal permanent resident are taking legal action against the federal government. They say they were wrongfully detained and beaten. Jasmine Veal has the video of their arrests.
Move your hand away?
No.
Carrie Lopez Alvarado, a U.S. citizen, was 9 months pregnant when she was handcuffed and detained by federal agents outside her boyfriend's job June 8th in Hawthorne.
I spent almost a week in the hospital. Once they had let me go because of my belly.
She says they shackled her in chains and held her for several hours, causing her to give birth prematurely days later.
Oh, mami, ¿qué pasó?
She was never charged. Her boyfriend was deported to Guatemala. Andrea Velez, also a U.S. citizen, had just been dropped off by her mom for work in downtown L.A. when she says she was knocked over and carried away by ICE agents June 24th.
He told me that he was going to arrest me for interfering. I think the most traumatic was just telling them that I was a U.S. citizen and they never bothered to check my identification.
On July 4th, Juan Rivas, a lawful permanent resident, says he was beaten, restrained, and detained outside an Inglewood Home Depot that left him injured despite showing agents proof of his residency, which had just expired but was being renewed. On June 12th, ICE and Border Patrol agents restrained and jailed U.S. citizen Javier Ramirez for 4 days, who says he was racially profiled while he was just working at his car lot in Montebello.
One of the agents just literally pointed at me and said, you know what, just get him, he's Mexican.
Victims of this summer of terror.
These are 4 of the 6 people attorney Luis Carrillo and his son Michael filed claims for damages against the U.S. Department of Homeland Security for wrongful detainment, civil rights violations, and use of excessive force.
The actions of these ICE agents and Border Patrol agents were ruled unconstitutional by 2 courts.
Carrillo says in these cases, the charges were either dismissed or they were never charged at all.
And in some instances, bogus, fake, false charges.
We have reached out to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security on these cases and claims and have not yet heard back. Government officials are carrying out President Trump's directive to arrest and deport undocumented immigrants with criminal records. That's hard for Alvarado to believe.
I don't know how they could find me a threat when I literally wasn't doing anything.
Jasmine Veal with that report. These claims are just the first step. The attorneys say they expect them to be rejected, and that will lead to a lawsuit against the federal government. A new report from UC Riverside warns that aggressive immigration enforcement is taking a serious toll on children's mental health. KPBS health reporter Heidi DeMarco says experts are calling it a public health crisis.
Outside Parkdale Lane Elementary in Encinitas on Wednesday morning, a child cries in their mother's arms as federal agents arrest their father. A new UC Riverside report says moments like these can have lasting consequences for children in immigrant and mixed status families.
Anxiety, stress, depression, even senses of hopelessness, mistrust, even suicidality in the course of that distress.
Dr. Lisa Fortuna is a child psychiatrist who co-authored the report. She and her colleagues compiled clinical data and community-based trauma research on children across the country from infants to teenagers. They found infants regressing and not sleeping or eating well, grade schoolers struggling to focus in class, and teens thinking about,
what would they do if they were separated from their parents? Are they going to have to take a parental role? And really sort of having a lot of distress and a lot more awareness.
At San Diego Unified's Newcomer Welcome Center, school counselor Juan Carlos Nieblas sees it firsthand.
I do feel there is an increase in stress and anxiety, and I feel a lot of it has to do with social media, what they see and they view online.
Nieblas works directly with students, connecting them with resources.
We are in collaboration with agencies in the community and in the school where students can receive services, whether it be mental health or housing or, just simply seeking medical.
Dr. Fortuna says these collaborations are crucial.
What families are having to do is, if they're working with a counselor or if they're working with schools, setting up plans. If we were separated, if something did happen, who would take care of you? What would happen? What would be our next step?
She says those conversations may be hard, but avoiding them can be worse. Without support, the long-term effects can include PTSD. For Nieblas, who grew up in San Diego with immigrant roots, supporting students feels personal.
I see myself a lot in these students and their families, and I can understand their stories and I can connect with them because I've had similar experiences.
Even amid uncertainty, he says students are finding strength in each other and building their own networks of support.
A lot of the students are in groups, so they walk together, or they're in community a lot of the times. They communicate with each other. They protect each other.
Both Fortuna and Nieblas agree children can't be shielded from fear. But with teachers, families, and communities working together, they can be supported through it. Heidi DeMarco, KPBS News.
In a story that aired last Friday during Evening Edition about AI and AI artist copyrights, we referred to Dina Igelsrud with the Concept Art Association as a lobbyist. However, she is not a registered lobbyist and merely a political advocate. We regret the error.
I'm Amna Nawaz. Tonight on the NewsHour, an appeals court throws out President Trump's $500 million fine in his civil fraud case. That's coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
With the number of COVID-19 cases rising, the American Academy of Pediatrics released its updated recommendations on vaccines and shots this week. The problem? They differ from the CDC's. Maribel Gonzalez spoke to experts about why this divergence is significant and what parents need to know.
The American Academy of Pediatrics has provided vaccine recommendations and published its own vaccine schedule for nearly 100 years, but it has not traditionally diverged from federal recommendations. That is, until now. The American Academy of Pediatrics, or AAP, issuing new guidance on COVID-19 vaccines for children.
At the Academy, we always start with what is in the best interest of the health of children.
The AAP recommending that all children ages 6 months through 23 months should receive a COVID-19 vaccine unless they're allergic to it, and a single dose after the age of 2.
Pediatricians around the country stand ready to do whatever is needed to keep our children safe.
The CDC guidance says the COVID-19 vaccine for healthy children ages 6 months to 17 years should be
quote, based on shared clinical decision making.
If the pediatricians are saying one thing, but our health secretary is saying another, these are real challenges that we are facing right now. And I have a feeling they're going to negatively impact vaccination rates for this fall.
As kids head back to school, COVID rates in the southern western U.S. reached 12.5%. That's the highest in the nation right now, according to the CDC.
We can't undervalue how important vaccines have been. If we're not careful, we may be rolling back the clock in a harmful way.
So what can you do to avoid confusion?
It's okay to hesitate and ask questions. Let's get you all the information you need in order to make the right choice for you and your family.
The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services responded to the AAP's immunization schedule by calling on the agency to, quote, strengthen conflict of interest safeguards and keep its publications free from financial influence. The AAP continued to emphasize its commitment to evidence-based recommendations. Reporting in Los Angeles, I'm Maribel Gonzalez.
Some big changes could be coming to airport security. The TSA is piloting biometric e-gates at 3 major U.S. airports. The goal is to help modernize travel ahead of the FIFA World Cup in 2026. Jen Sullivan explains what e-gates are and how they could speed up the security process.
We've all been there, standing in long security lines at the airport. But thanks to some new technology, this process may become a lot faster. The TSA announced it's teaming up with security screening company Clear to roll out what's called biometric e-gates.
This is the wave of the future.
Clint Henderson, managing editor of The Points Guy, got a first-hand look at how these futuristic systems work during the testing phase. This is video of him going through the e-gate, which will be free for passengers. The machine uses facial recognition technology to verify your identity.
It will identify you with a scan and verify your identification. It'll pull up your boarding pass.
This means travelers will no longer stop at a TSA podium and will instead go straight to a physical screening after their identity is confirmed at the gate.
I'm all for it because it speeds up airports so much.
They'll debut at airports in Atlanta, D.C., and Seattle this month. They're already installed at airports in the San Francisco Bay Area, Oklahoma City, and North Carolina. Some critics are concerned about privacy, but Henderson says he's not worried.
They're literally just comparing a picture of your face to the document they have on file, and then all that data is dumped.
Right now, you will still have the option to go through the old security line. It just may take longer. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Well, brace for more changes at parking meters in the city of San Diego. Weeks after San Diego announced it would hike parking rates near Petco Park, the city says it will now expand metered parking hours in several business districts. Metered hours will extend at least 2 hours and will now include Sundays. This starts today in Pacific Beach and the Mid-City area and will also hit uptown and downtown San Diego later this month. A local contemporary ballet company will premiere 3 new works this weekend. The Rosenbach's project performs at the California Center for the Arts Escondido, and a streaming option will be available later this month. KPBS arts reporter Julia Dixon-Evans shows us how the company brings innovation to life on stage.
With the midday heat pressing against the studio windows, 9 dancers powered through a grueling workout with astonishing grace. The Rosenbach's project invited 2 guest choreographers to create works for its debuts program. Contemporary ballet spans the spectrum between ballet and modern dance. Some pieces are performed in pointe shoes, others are more free. Choreographer Ching Ching Wong created a dance about a futuristic supermarket love story.
Imagine if you could control every memory that's ever occurred in your life. You could almost call them to action at your will. Get rid of the ones you never want to see. Bring forward the ones that you love.
Wong's piece is about time, loss, and memory. It's wild and speculative, but also personal.
I've made a theater of it, but maybe at the Nugget, it's just me grappling with my own fear, my own anxieties.
Also on the program is international choreographer Garrett Smith, whose new work continues his ongoing trench coat series.
The coat for this piece represents maybe like a shield or a layer socially. Sometimes in certain groupings, we are different people than we are in other places.
Founding director Carly Topazio also premieres new choreography. Most companies present only one new dance in a program, or a few each year. The Rosenbachs is staging 3 in one night.
It's crazy hard, yes.
Still, she says the company thrives on the exhilaration and the creative expression.
It's just, there's something electric about creating new work rather than restaging something on our bodies that were created on different bodies. You know, there's definitely like an identity there too.
Julia Dixon-Evans, KPBS News.
Julia also hosts the KPBS podcast, The Finest. It captures the people, art, and movement, redefining our region's cultural identity. A new episode is out today. You can listen now at kpbs.org/thefinest or wherever you get your podcasts. Some people are enjoying the outdoors despite the heat, but fire officials are reminding everyone to take steps to prevent heat-related illness.
Just this summer, we've responded to over 35 medical rescues involving CAL FIRE firefighters as well as the San Diego County's helicopter.
Our media partner KGTV spoke with a pair of experienced hikers out on Iron Mountain Trail today. They headed out early to avoid the hottest part of the day. Their advice to anyone braving the heat: stay hydrated and aware.
I feel accomplished. I feel good in the sense as far as being prepared for the heat. Make sure you're well hydrated before being out in this heat, and make sure you got a little something to eat.
Something to remember also, the heat also brings chances for thunderstorms in inland areas, and those types of storms can cause fires. CAL FIRE says to be on the lookout and pay close attention to the weather.
As we head into tonight, I will be tracking low clouds near the coast. Overnight temperatures will be a mix of mid to upper 60s. We'll even see some low 70s here across the coastal areas as we head into tonight. But overall, you can see most of the region will be mid to upper 60s with partly cloudy skies. A little bit more cloud coverage here the closer you get to the coastal areas here as we head into your early Friday morning. But 69 in downtown San Diego, 65 for Oceanside and Camp Pendleton. A little bit more mild up to the north near Temecula. Overall, you can see future radar seeing a little bit of cloud coverage there offshore, but overall lots of sunshine. As far as any organized rain, not really in the forecast. There will be some shower chances popping up during the afternoon hours, primarily across the Four Corners and the Rockies, but overall that's going to be about it for the rain chances. But then they really start to pick up here during the late afternoon hours. You can see 5 o'clock there for Pacific time, Friday afternoon. Lots of rainfall here popping up across parts of the Four Corners. There'll even be some interior rainfall here across California. Southern California, you could possibly see a shower or two, but overall looks like the chance of rain is going to remain relatively low. If we do see any organized rainfall here for San Diego, looks like it's going to be in the forecast 9 a.m., right around 9 a.m. there early Saturday morning. We'll see some light shower chances possible. But overall for Friday, it's all about the heat. It's going to be hot with record-breaking temperatures across the Pacific Northwest. So yes, definitely going to be hot. Forecast here for your Friday with temperatures 80s along the coast, 90s along the interior, triple digits there along the in the desert area. So yes, definitely get ready for that. On Saturday, we'll be watching out for more heat and even some more rain chances in the forecast, especially across the central Rockies. But for that extended coast outlook, you can see temperatures will maintain in the 80s. We'll see temperatures taking a little bit of a dip here as we head into the early parts of next week. Inland forecast, same thing, temperatures in the 90s before that temperature dip starts to move in between Monday and Tuesday. Across the mountains, temperatures will maintain in the 70s, and then there across the desert, we'll see temperatures taking a dip into the 90s on Tuesday.
Well, here's another look at today's top stories. Eric Menendez is appearing before a state parole board panel. He and his brother Lyle are seeking their release from prison after 30 years. Lyle Menendez will go before a parole panel tomorrow. They were both convicted of the 1989 murder of their parents in Beverly Hills. The brothers had been serving life sentences without the chance of parole, but they were resentenced in May, opening the door for possible release. The governor will have the final say. And the heat advisory for San Diego inland valleys today and tomorrow has increased the risk of fire. It has also prompted Governor Gavin Newsom to dedicate more firefighting resources. An additional 47 fire engines, 9 bulldozers, and 5 helicopters are available to San Diego and 4 other Southern California counties. Our county has many smaller communities that are rich in local history. Sometimes that history is told in the names of the streets and the towns. Ken Kramer has one example in this story about San Diego.
Oh, I think it's been a long time since anybody lived here in this old adobe building, baked by the sun, blown by the wind, and scorched by fire. It's all that remains now of what was once a house in Bear Valley. Look on some maps. See it? Bear Valley makes you wonder if there ever was a... Oh! Well, now there is a bear. A California grizzly, like the one for which it turns out Bear Valley was named. See, the story is that in this valley, well over a century ago, there was a huge grizzly bear. I mean, a 2,200-pound bear, biggest one ever seen in California. It had been killing animals, terrorizing people around here, and out behind this house, they finally shot and killed the bear, brought it to a neighbor's ranch, weighed it at more than a ton, and from that point on, it was called Bear Valley. There were Bear Valley peaches sold. You can see a big grizzly's got a guy up a tree. Tree-ripened Bear Valley peaches from Haskell Farms. One taste is worth 100 words, the label said. A pure product of Bear Valley. Today, the house on the property where the bear was shot is pretty much gone. A few miles away at the Historical Museum, they've got a stuffed grizzly that's very big and scary, but not as big as the legendary bear that Bear Valley was named for more than a century ago. And even though you still see the name, Bear Valley, here and there, the official name of the town near where it all happened has been changed from Bear Valley to Valley Center. In case anybody ever asks you that question about San Diego.
I've actually always wondered that, and now I know. And if you'd like to see more of Ken Kramer's stories about San Diego, you can check out his half-hour show tonight and every Thursday night, 8 o'clock, right here on KPBS. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Have a great evening.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating, air, restoration, and flood services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit BillHowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. By viewers like you. Thank you.